And every day is a new dirty day out there. Muddy.
I know. I'm sure you were just tired of it.
I think everybody in this whole area is just, you know. So take your time. Start to sit comfortably. It is Friday the 20th of April. We're here for Yoga Flow. So if you want a third block, if you like 3-block dolphin, you can grab a third block early, or I can get you one later. It's fine. But sit comfortably. So if you're at home and you'd rather sit with blankets under you, by all means do, or stretch your legs out if you'd rather, and just take your time. Don't roll backwards. And close your eyes. Let yourself really easily lengthen up through the top of your head, accepting your breaths in and out through your nose. And just release your hands to wherever feels the best for you, all the way up into your shoulders, so you can feel nice and open across your chest. And just enjoy feeling the breath coming in and out through your nose. Letting the belly rise and expand as you inhale. For a couple of breaths here, find those little spaces between your breaths. Let yourself enjoy the end of the inhale when you feel that little pause before you exhale. And the same thing at the end of your exhale, finding that little space before you inhale. Gently now, start to circle your torso, keeping your back nice and long, and letting yourself just move through these easy little circles. Now, you can let the circles get bigger and bigger, or you can stay really small. Letting your exhales bring you forward, your inhales bring you back. We are going to reverse directions, so you stop where you feel good to stop and let yourself come in the other direction. And then the next time you come back a little bit forward, stay there for a breath. And then use your right hand right above your right knee to encourage the knee away from you, and put your left hand on the floor there to give you support, and let yourself just open up a little deeper through here your right sideways. Just enjoy finding a little more there. And then we'll come on back through center. We're going to switch sides. And just let yourself come into a little bit more in the sideways there. Breathing, encouraging the knee to go just a little away from you. And then we'll come on back into center. And come into center using your hands if you need to give you support and staying up high. If you feel like you want to fold a little more over your legs, by all means do. So take your time. If possible, let your head hang, of course, unless it bothers your back. Otherwise, you can keep your head in line with your spine. Just try to find some release in your neck, however's best for you. breath here. And we'll slowly walk ourselves on back up to sitting, releasing your hands out beside you here now. Let's inhale both arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. And unfolding your arms, remember which leg you have in front. We're going to stretch our legs out though. We'll switch them in a second, but move through your feet and your ankles a little bit, just circling around. And then from here, we'll come into a little bit of a twist. So bringing your left foot into the inside of your right leg somewhere. It doesn't matter if it's up high or down low. You can just cross over if you want, right? And from here, just letting yourself come around with your left hand behind you, coming into an easy twist here. Releasing up through the top of your head. Now, be aware of that right heel on the ground. Draw it back towards you a little bit and press into the ball of your right foot a little bit. Feel the belly engaging. One more breath. And then we'll come on back into center. Stretch that leg long. Bring your arms behind you for a second and let yourself draw your chest forward. You can be up on fingertips or flat hands. Doesn't matter, whichever feels good. And be mindful of your neck. You know, you may want to look forward or you might want to look up a little bit or a lot. And then we'll come on back up and we're going to bring that right foot in this time. Again, below or above your knee, whatever feels good. And on your next exhale, coming on around into your twist. So again, just be mindful. Let it feel good. Lengthening up through the crown of your head. Only look back as far as feels okay for you. If you like to look more behind yourself, you can. If not, just look to the side. One more breath. And then use your belly to bring you back around again. Stretch your legs out again. And we're going to recross, but have the other leg in front from the way we were before, if you were cross-legged. And then from here, ease your way a little bit forward. See if you can press down into the outside edges of your feet a little bit. And then lean over to your left, put your left hand right there on the floor. And again, take your right hand there above your knee and encourage the knee just to go away from you a little bit, right? Getting that little bit through the side waist again. And then we'll shift back and around to the other side. And again, just use that hand to give you a little bit more in your side waist. And then we'll come back into center, and again, you take your time in your seated forward bend. Stay up higher if you need. Walk farther out if that feels good. Let your head hang if that's okay for you, but be mindful of your back. Good. One more breath. And then we're going to walk ourselves on back up and release our hands on out. Fingertips lightly touching the floor if you're on the ground there. And we'll inhale both arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. And now clasp your hands together. Squeeze your palms and really squeeze your fingers together. Feel that activation up through your arms, into your biceps and your shoulders. And then just turn your palms away from your chest and press on forward. So really feeling the fingers here now and your wrists. Take your time. If you can float your hands up higher and higher and higher, you just pay attention to your own shoulders, how high you go. And then we'll lean a little to the left and really just enjoy feeling a little more stretch through the right side of the body. It doesn't have to be a long way. And then we'll come on back up to the top and we're going to go the other side. Pressing gently into the heel of that left hand. Feel your left sitting bone drawing down. Nice. And then we'll come on back all the way up. Bend your elbows. Let your hands come right behind your head here. And just press your head gently into your hands. And let the hands keep the head there so you're not looking up. You're looking forward still. One more breath here. Feeling really active in the belly and the back. And then we'll release and let our hands come on down. Shake out a little bit. And we're going to come around towards our hands and knees. So if you would like to have a blanket under your knees, grab one and get comfortable for your wrists. If you need to come on to fist, by all means do that. If it feels better to be down on your forearms, do that, okay? And let's just ease our way. Come on into cat pose for a second. Stay for a couple of breaths. Let your head hang. Let your jaw go. Feel the tailbone reaching downward. And then on your next inhale, send that tailbone backing up and feel how the belly wants to melt and the ribs and the heart coming into your cow pose. And then just start to move through with your own breath at the tempo that feels good for you, right? Stopping in each pose if you want to, or moving through. Letting yourself move through with every breath if that feels better for you. So just enjoy finding that movement, very natural movement through your spine. Warming up those muscles alongside the spine. Good. And then we'll finish off the one we're on. And we'll come to more neutral spine. So look down between your hands here. Let's send our right foot back behind us on the floor. Curl your toes under. Press into the heel. Take your time. Engage your belly a little bit. And then float that right leg up if you can. Let it come up about parallel to the floor. Toes are facing down. Good. And then from here, we're going to send the leg out to the right and put the foot on the floor. Now, the toes are facing forward of your mat. You're kind of getting your foot parallel to the long edge of your mat if you can. And keep the foot fully on the floor. And you can feel your inner thigh a little bit there. If you want more, you shift your hips back a little. You might get it even more. Just try to keep the foot on the floor fully if you possibly can. Good, and then bring the leg on back around through center. We're going to bring it all the way to the left and look over our left shoulder and have the toes on the floor and let yourself just look back towards that right foot back there. Stretching through the whole right side of the body. And then we'll bring the leg on back behind us, float it up again, parallel to the floor. See if you can release your left arm forward. Coming into balance there. And then we'll bring the hand down and the knee down, and we're going to switch to bring the left foot behind us on the floor. Press into the heel. Wake up the back of that leg. Feel your calf. You can look between your hands. You can drop your head if that feels better. Let yourself be mindful of how your neck feels. And then float your leg up again, about parallel to the floor. Toes are facing down. And we're going to bring the leg to the left, and again, if we can put it on the floor, I mean, it might be all the way up in line with your hands, or it might be lower, right? Let yourself find an inner thigh stretch there. You can shift your hips back if you want a little bit more. Good, and then we'll bring the leg back through center. We're going to go all the way over to the right, look over our right shoulder, and have the foot on the floor, and press into the heel and feel that left side stretch there. Good, and we're going to bring the leg on back into center, and again, bring it up so that it's about parallel to the floor. If you can release your right arm forward for a balance, do. And then we'll bring the hand down and the knee down. We're going to shift into child's pose. Let yourself bring your big toes together, knees apart, shift back. If you're comfortable when you come into child's pose to bend your elbows and put your hands up on your upper back, do. If that's too much, don't do it. If it feels good to stretch your triceps out like that, do. And just breathe into your low back. Let it feel good. One more nice full breath. And we're going to come on up and shift forward, bringing our left foot forward. You might want your blocks. We're going to keep the right knee down and come into just shifting the hips forward and lunge with the back knee down here. So take your time. Your blocks can be any height, you know that. So you can be up higher if you'd rather. You don't have to shift that low. Feel the top of the right foot gently coming down into the mat there. And then we're going to bring that left knee back down and step our right foot forward and come to the other side. So again, how far you shift forward with your hips, that's up to you. Press gently into the top of the left toes back there. Good. And then we'll bring the right knee back down again. We're going to step the left foot forward. We're going to lift the back knee up for lunge this time. So kind of into your lunge, you know, finding that width of your stance where you feel good, like you're on narrow railroad tracks. And then see if you can think about bringing your hands up to your left thigh. Now you can stay forward. Some of you might even want to come all the way up and bring your hands to your heart, have your shoulders over your hips. Not necessary. You can stay forward. Let your hands stay down if you need. And then we'll release to come on back down, and we're going to switch legs. So again, finding that length and width of stance where you feel very stable, right? You're solid here. And maybe it's pretty easy to bring both hands up and just stay forward. Have your hands on your thigh, above your knee there, or lifting up into your high lunge there, bringing your shoulders over your hips. Good. And then we'll let our hands come on back down. And let's step forward. Come into standing forward bend. Feet hips distance apart or parallel. Let your head move around a little bit maybe. Nod or shake your head, and of course use support if you need. If you need to put your elbows above your knees or your hands on blocks or any other support, use it. And then see if you can let your torso just swing a little bit side to side, right? So your hands kind of stay centered, or whatever support you're using is centered, and you just kind of let the torso go a little bit one way and then the other. And then make your way back into center. Feel the toes float up off the floor here for a second. Think about spreading, making space between your toes, spreading them out. You can always use your fingers to help do that if you can get your fingers down there. You can massage your toes a little bit if you want. And then release toes on back down. One more nice full breath. Feel the ribs expanding as you inhale. And then we'll let our hands rise on up to our hips, bend our knees, press into our feet, and come on up. Inhaling our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, bringing our hands down together in front of our hearts. So coming into mountain pose here, take your time. If you need to adjust your feet, do. Be mindful. Actually, for a second, draw your chin down a little bit. Feel the release at the back of the neck. And then bring your gaze on back forward and find that sense of the head floating up there on top of your spine. So just slightly lifting your chin up can tell you that puts a little tension, right? If you can find that spot where the chin is just right and the head is up there so easily, pelvis aligned, tailbone dropping down. Feeling as balanced as you can from your right to your left side and from the front to the back of your body. And then we'll unfold our arms right on down beside us. And we'll inhale the arms all the way out and up. And on the exhale, bend our knees and fold from the hips to come into your standing forward bend. Let your next inhale bring your hands to your shins. Wrap your fingers, your thumbs to the inside of your calves and your fingers around the outside, and your pointer fingers are pointing straight down to the middle of your ankles, right? And then just bring your gaze right underneath your face so you have that nice long back. Knees can be bent here, you know that. Feel like you're trying to make your mat a little wider with your feet. Press your feet gently away from each other. Feel how that comes all the way up into the hips, the outer hips. Inner thighs melting backwards. And we'll step our right foot back from here and come into lunge. And inhale. Exhale into your downward facing dog pose. So yay for the first dog. Take your time. Move if you need to. Bend your knees. Walk. Move around however helps you get more naturally into your dog. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Really feel your fingers on the floor, your thumbs. So you're trying to keep even in your hands, not rolling to the outside of your hands. And on the next inhale, we'll come on out towards that plank. Nice and strong. And see if you can bend one knee and then the other. So you're walking your plank a little bit. Take your time. Nice and strong in the belly. Finish off to be back in your full plank. And we're going to lower down. So you can put your knees down first if you want. Elbows right by the ribs. And let's come on into a little Sphinx pose. Bringing our forearms on the floor with our elbows under our shoulders. Spread your fingers nice and wide. And then from here, just bend your right knee. Flex the right foot. Feel your quad a little bit there. It doesn't have to be extreme. And then let that leg come back down. And we'll do the left. Flex the foot. Feel the thigh engage. Keep your belly engaging. Good. And then we'll release to bring that leg down. Let's lower down and slide our hands back by our chest. And then inhale up into a little cobra. Elbows hugging in towards the ribs. If you feel like you want to keep going up and up and up into your cobra, go right ahead. If not, stay low. And then we'll release to come all the way back down. We're going to make our way back to down dog. Whether you come through a half or a full push-up, maybe you'd rather just shift back to your hands and knees. Spread those fingers, elbows hugging in. Find that sense that you don't feel like you're drawing your shoulders way up by your ears, but you're also not compressing them down. There's this place that feels just perfect. And we're going to bring our right foot forward to come into lunge. And you know you can put your left knee down, whatever you need to do to get back to lunge. And then we'll come on back into standing forward bend. Right to your breath. Following your breaths. All the way in and out. Maybe even again finding those little spaces. So if you can find those little spaces and imagine you're just totally releasing in those little spaces between your breaths. It's almost like a feeling of suspension, really. And then we'll release our hands back up to our hips. We're going to bend our knees and come on up to standing. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Let's unfold our arms beside us and inhale our right arm all the way out and up. Bend the elbow. Let yourself, if you need to release the elbow to the side or forward, do it. And then fold your left arm onto your low back. If you choose to start to reach your hands towards each other, you can. Doesn't mean you have to go all the way or anything. Just let the shoulders open up. Feel the tailbone reaching down. Make sure you're not tucking your tailbone, even just a little bit forward. Let it reach down towards between your heels. One more breath. And then we'll release the arms down and we're going to switch. So left arm comes up. Elbow bends. Again, you have to adjust with your own shoulders. Hand can come back behind you. You can do your whole forearm on behind your back. You can let your hands reach towards each other, but they don't need to touch. It's up to you. Keep your gaze forward and keep the tailbone reaching down towards between your heels or a little behind you even. Good, and then we're going to release and let both arms come down. Clasp your hands behind you here. And when you inhale, let the arms come a little bit off your back. And when you exhale, let them come back down. So inhaling, the arms away a little bit. And exhaling, letting them come down. And one more time. Inhaling the arms away. And exhaling them, letting them come down. And this time, inhale with your hands down. And as you exhale, fold forward. Now, you can stay parallel to the floor. Keep your hands back if you want. You can fold over your legs. And if you want to bring your arms off the back because your shoulders let you do that, go for it. See if you can feel the weight of your head. Let go of your jaw. And then we'll release our arms on down. Let your next inhale help you find a long, long back. And we'll step the left foot back to lunge this time. And inhale. Exhale into your downward facing dog pose. So walk your dog a little bit. Let your toes slowly bend a knee at a time. Getting into the backs of the legs. Really enjoy feeling the tailbone reach back, and then come back to your full dog. And on your next inhale, come on out to your plank. Nice and strong. And we're going to lower down. So again, knees first if you need to, or you can come through that full push-up. And we'll come into that cobra. Now you can just, float your upper body up a little bit, not even using your hands, or you can press up into your cobra higher. Your choice of how much of a back bend you do. And then we'll release to come back down. We're going to make our way back into down dog, again, however you choose to get there. And we'll bring the left foot forward to come into lunge. And then we'll come all the way back into standing forward bend. Now if you can, get your feet really set there. Bend your knees a little bit. Press your feet away from each other like you're trying to make your mat wider, like we did before. Imagine your inner thighs melting behind you. And then walk your hands over to the right, right? And you may come just kind of towards the outside of that right foot. Just let yourself walk over. And then come back through center, and we'll go to the left. So again, keep engaged, pressing the feet away from each other. And then come on back into center. And now you might want blocks under your hands, you might not. We're going to step our left foot a little more to the midline and cross our right ankle over in front of over the top of the left ankle. And your toes are still facing forward, right? So what happens is you really get into the outside of the back leg, which is the left one, unless you're on the other side, right? And you can have your knees a little bent. You can have them straighter. You can have your hands up higher. You can go down lower and fold over, You can be way out with your back long, too. It's a nice stretch for the IT band. Take your time. Bring your breath where you need it. Good. One more breath. And then we're going to uncross so that we can switch. All right? So bringing the right foot a little more to the midline. Left ankle crosses on top. And remember, the toes are all still trying to face forward. You probably won't have that front foot fully on the floor, though. So don't worry too much about it. You're going to feel the back leg. And then just breathe. Nice, full breaths. And wherever you feel maybe a kind of tightness that you need your breath, bring it there. Good. And then we're going to unwrap and come back to standing with our feet hip distance apart and parallel. Let's bring our hands up to our hips, bend our knees, and rise up. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on the exhale, come into a little chair pose. Let your arms be overhead if you can, so that they are right by your ears, and you're turning your palms to face each other. If that bothers your shoulders, lower your arms down, right? And just be mindful. Feel the feet equal in the floor. You might even want to look down, make sure your knees are centered there over your feet. One more breath here. And on the exhale, we're going to fold forward into standing forward bend. Let your next inhale lengthen out your spine. Exhale, right foot back into lunge as we move with our breath. Inhale. Exhale into your downward facing dog. Let your inhale bring you out to your plank. Your exhale will lower you down. And your inhale will bring you into your cobra. Exhale back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale, right foot forward to lunge. And inhale. Exhale to your standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising all the way to the top with your breath. Let your exhale bring you forward. Inhale into that long back. Exhale, left foot back to lunge. And inhale. Exhale into your down dog. Let your inhale carry you to plank. Your exhale will lower you down. And inhale into that cobra. Exhale back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale, left foot forward to lunge. And inhale. Exhale to your standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising again to the top. And on the exhale, folding forward. Inhale, nice long back. We're going to come into down dog however you want to get there. So make your way into your down dog. Take your time. Let yourself take a minute to rest there in dog, right? So it feels like dog is a resting pose now. Lengthening out through the back of the legs, but mainly thinking about that long spine. Beautiful dogs. From here, we're going to bring our left foot forward. And we're coming out for warrior two. So be mindful. Grab your blocks. Have them handy there. Let yourself really get that bend of that front knee just where you know you're good to be. And then see if you can kind of bend and straighten that knee a little bit, right? You can watch it. Just make sure the knee's not doing kind of wonky things. You know, sometimes it flips inward a little bit or outward. I mean, a lot of it's structural, but if you can kind of control a little bit, and then go ahead and get that knee bent however deeply you want. You know, you don't have to worry about getting your thigh parallel to the floor, right? How long your stance is will make a difference in how deeply you want to bend. And let's float our arms up and then bring our right arm under our left, give ourselves a hug, and then decide if you want to head into a little more of an eagle wrap with your arms or not. It's fine not to. It's fine to stay hugging. If you do have the wrap going there, think of the elbows just gently rising up but the shoulders melting down. Good. And then we will unwind the arms, bring the hands on down, float the arms on out into warrior two, reaching out through the fingertips, feeling the feet in the floor. Press your feet gently away from each other. Really still feel that sense of engaging up into your hips equally. One more breath. We're going to turn the left palm up, fold the right arm behind us, and inhale, reach up towards the sky with that left hand. Breathing into your reverse warrior. One more breath. And on the exhale, we'll come into side angle. So bring in your forearm or your hand to your thigh at first. And let your right hand just stay on your hip for a minute. Look down, and you can decide from here. Do you want to put your left hand down on a block and go a little bit lower in your side angle? You don't have to, but if it feels good, you can. Let yourself go a little bit lower, or you can stay up higher. And then start to go ahead and turn your gaze to look towards the long edge of your mat, and bring that right arm on forward of your chest and swing it on up into line if you can. So take your time. You don't have to bring the arm up. If it hurts your shoulder, leave the hand down on your hip. Just enjoy finding that outer left hip drawing back a little bit. One more breath. And then we're going to rise back into warrior two, pressing those feet away from each other as we come. And now let's straighten the left knee out for triangle. We're going to bring the left hand down. Now you can decide if you want to use your leg or if you want to use the block or if you want to use the floor, right? And again, you might decide you want to change the height a little bit. You can change the height of the block if you're using that, or you can bring the hand a little lower or higher on your leg. Once you get into lengthening the torso out, see if you can let your right arm keep going down towards your head so you get a little more of a side stretch. The palm faces down. You can feel that side waist. And then bring the arm on back up. Right straight up from the shoulder, unless your shoulder doesn't let you. One more breath. Good. Look down towards your left foot. Make sure you're not rolling on it. And then come on back into lunge. Let yourself bring your right hand down. Let that right heel release directly behind you now. And we're going to walk around into a wide-legged forward bend, so you can use your blocks or you can have your hands walk around with you. Get yourself there with the feet how far apart feels good, and go ahead and bend a knee at a time. So take your time, let yourself ease your way. Good. And then when you feel kind of like you've gotten a little bit what you want to do there, turn your toes out. So it's like a goddess kind of stance. Bend both your knees at the same time for a second, but you have your hands on the blocks or the floor. Nice long back. And then go ahead and shift, straighten one leg at a time, right? So you're doing that same bending one knee at a time. And if you like going lower, you can. You can give yourself support and let your hips shift down and come with the toes up of that long leg if you want to, right? Don't do that if it bothers your knees or your hips. Obviously, stay up higher. Good. And then when you've had enough of that, come back into center. Turn your toes back forward. And then take your time. Get yourself set up where you can easily really accept your breaths without feeling any kind of discomfort in your body, right? Support how you need. If you need blocks under your forearms, your hands, or your head, you know, maybe you feel really good to walk your hands behind and let yourself fully hang. That's just not, everybody's different, right? So be where you can. And just be with your breath again. It's like coming home to your breath. Good. One more full deep breath. And we're going to walk our hands back forward. Let's walk back to our left foot. Come on back into lunge. Really find your lunge there. And then we'll come on back into down dog. Now if you can, once you get into dog, walk a little bit, adjust. See if you can come out to plank and play a little bit with side plank. Now it doesn't have to be a full one, but it can be. You can put your right knee down and use it like a kickstand, that right foot, and come into that variation. Or you can do your full side plank if you choose, with both legs long. And then we'll come on back through to plank, and we're going to go the other side. So again, you can do that variation of knee down and letting yourself come into that variation, or you can try the full side plank. Oh, that's nice. They're bookends. And then we're going to bring our hands back down, and we're going to come into full plank. Walk your plank a little bit. Actually, lift your hips up a little higher, and then walk the plank. So let your hips be just a little bit higher than you usually do. Let yourself bring one knee down at a time. And then come on back to plank. We're going to lower down. Knees first if you need. And let's come into an up dog, either with toes curled under or to the tops of the feet, if you can. You know, if it's too much for you, don't do it. And then we'll release to come back down. We're going to make our way back to down dog. And now you're on your own. You want to do anything else from here before we do the other side, go for it. If you want to come into vinyasas or kriyas, if you want to put your knees down and rest, do. Just ease your way to where you need to be. Good. And then we'll finish off. And we'll meet back in down dog. Just long enough to bring our right foot forward and come into warrior two on the other side. So again, having your blocks handy there, lining your heels up, getting that alignment of that front knee, and to bend and straighten and watch, letting yourself really be mindful of finding that alignment of that front knee. It actually feels kind of good to go straight and feel your thighs lift up and then bend the knee. Good. Now find the deep bend that you want, how deep of a bend you want. And we'll float our arms up. And let's bring our left arm under our right and give our hug. Now from here you can go farther into a wrap or not. Just be easy Bring your breath into between the shoulder blades on your back. Good. And then we'll release, let the arms come down, and float them on up into Warrior Two arms. So really feel like your arms are being supported underneath. Tops of the shoulders are soft. It's those muscles that come wrapping around under your arms that are holding them out there. Feel the feet gently pressing away from each other. And we'll fold our left arm behind us. Turn the right palm up and inhale. Reach up or behind yourself. Nice breath into the right side of the body. And on the exhale, bring in that forearm or hand above the knee. Look down for a second. Let yourself take your time. And now you can decide from here if you want to put that right hand down a little lower on a block or not, right? That's up to you, or even lower. And then start to turn to look towards the long edge of your mat. Swing your left arm, if you're going to add it up, into line with the body. Bring it on up there. And then just enjoy. Feel that outer right hip drawing back a little bit. Keeping the knee lined up. Good. So one more breath here. And we're going to come on back into Warrior Two, pressing those feet away from each other. And to straighten that front knee for triangle, feel the thighs lifting up towards the hips as you bring that right hand down. And again, you can use whatever you want. You can use a block. You can use your leg, the floor. Let that left arm reach up for a second. And then if you can lower the arm, left arm down towards your head, turn the palm down towards the floor. A little more of a side stretch there. Keep those thighs engaging upward. And then let the arm come on back up to the top. If you want to turn to look at your hand up there, you can. One more breath. And then turn to look at your right foot there on the floor. Make sure you're not rolling, which I am, to the outside of the foot. And then bring your left hand down and find your lunge. Release that left heel directly behind you. And we're going to walk around into that wide-legged forward bend. So kind of get your feet set, but then keep walking to the left. Get over towards your left foot as far as you want to go. You can always just use your blocks and go a little bit, or you can go all the way as close, holding on to the outside of your ankle. Bring your left hand on up to your left hip. You can roll your shoulder up a little bit if you want. And then bring that left hand down, and we're going to walk back and over to the other side. So again, doesn't matter how far you go. Bring your right hand up when you get there. Decide if it feels good to roll the shoulder up a little bit. And then bring the hand back down. And now when you get back to center with your hands, walk them way out in front of you like you're doing a down dog, but a little bit wider with your hands than you do in your down dog. And feel the feet. Your knees can be bent or straight. Feel the feet pressing away from each other. Let your elbows hug inward. Let your heart melt down. So it's like your chest is releasing and you get that upper back stretch there. One more breath. And then walking your hands on back, find the place you want to stay for a few breaths. You can have traditional hands between the feet so that they're shoulder distance apart, elbows hugging inward, shoulders drawing away from your ears, or you can hold your ankles or use support. Full deep breaths. Good. One more breath. And we're going to walk ourselves back out. We're walking back to that right foot, coming on back into lunge and back into our downward facing dog pose. You're on your own this time. You want to do vinyasas or kriyas, go for it. Put your knees down. Stay in dog. Let your yourself just ease your way into what feels really good for you. Good. And then we'll meet back in downward facing dog pose. Once we're there, let's bring our left foot forward. Have both your blocks handy here, and we're coming into warrior one. So, rising yourself on up, letting your shoulders come around square, and letting your hands come together just to be in front of your heart. Letting yourself just get mindful about that back foot. Really feel it on the floor, but feel the arch lifting up. And enjoy. As you inhale, let the hands stay together and rise up through the midline. And as you exhale, let them come right back down to be in front of your chest. So again, inhaling, letting the hands come up. And exhaling, letting them come back down. And now inhale, get the hands up only as high as you want. Clasp your hands and send the hands behind your head. Let your elbows come in towards your face a little bit, and then let the elbows rise up. And you're just supporting your head with your hands. Just enjoy. Now you can stay right here, or you can start to extend your arms up, clasping your hands with your pointer finger reaching up. If you like that hand mudra in warrior one. Inhaling up the front of the body, exhaling down the back. Really kind of picture that you're encircled by your breath. That breath that rises up the front over the top, flows down the back. Nice. One more breath. And then bringing your gaze forward, let your arms come on down. Straighten that front leg out. Get your hips squared around for pyramid. And now keep your arms down. Let your palms face in towards your body. And start to come forward with the torso, but let the arms reach back. So you're reaching back through your fingertips. Now, if you feel like you don't want to go very far, don't go very far. Reaching the fingertips back behind you. If you have to put your hands down, do. Feel your thighs lifting up. And then go ahead and lower your hands down to the blocks, whatever height you want to be, or the floor. Feel those thighs still engaging upward. If you'd like to go ahead and fold over your front leg, you can. If that doesn't feel so good, don't do it. Good. One more breath wherever you are. And now come up so that you get more parallel to the floor. And you're going to want to get your blocks under your hands. Bend your front knee. And step forward into a warrior three here. Let your toes face down, your hands right there under your shoulders on your blocks. And now bend both your knees and bring your right knee in beside your left. Take a little break there, right? And on your next inhale, stretch back into that warrior three. And then do that again. Exhale, bending the knee, kind of round into your back a little bit. And then inhale, come back long. See if you can then release your left arm forward. If not, don't do it. If you can, go right ahead. If you decide you want to try both hands coming up, by all means do that. So play where you want here with your balance. One more breath. And then we're going to reach back into lunge from here. So let yourself come on back into your lunge. And we're going to add a little twist. So keeping the right hand grounded, bringing your left hand to your left hip, and coming into twist. Now if you want, you can do twisted prayer. You can bring your right elbow over to your left knee. You can stretch your left arm up if you have your hand grounded and you like doing that. Or you can keep your left hand down. Let it feel kind of like a relief. One more breath. And then we'll come on back down with the hand. We're going to come back through down dog. And if you want to do vinyasas or kriyas, go for them. So moving through the way you want. Take your time. Don't do anything if you don't want to, right? There's enough we have to do, right? So let yourself follow what your body needs. Good. And let's go ahead and finish off what we're doing and meet back in down dog. And bring our right foot forward. Remember, we're coming up for warrior one. So get yourself set there. Let your length of stance be good. Let that back foot be fully in the floor. Let your hands come to your chest there. Feel the fingers really connected there, and your thumbs. Letting the thumbs kind of come in just where it's comfortable to come in towards your breastbone. So it feels really easy to inhale the hands up through the midline and exhale them right back down. So inhaling the hands up, really keeping your focus and exhaling down. And then inhaling the hands up, and this time, clasp your hands, put them behind your head, hug your elbows in a little bit, and then just reach the elbows up. It's as easy as that. You might just want to stay right there because the head is so nice when it's supported, isn't it? It's so heavy. But then again, if you feel like, oh, extending the arms up and the head feels still light, you can. Just try not to add tension into your neck, your throat. Feel the breath again. Inhaling up the front, exhaling down the back. Warrior one. It's an amazing pose. One more breath. And then we're going to look forward, release our arms on down, and we're straightening this front knee out. Now, if you're like me, you might have to adjust a little bit to get into those hips squared. Let your arms come down, palms face inward, right? And then start to come forward. Thighs engaging up towards the hips. Reaching back through your fingertips. Almost like your chest is leading you, right? You can stay here, you can go ahead farther forward, or you can stay up high or parallel to the floor. If you don't want to go any lower, don't. And then when you're ready for the hands to come down, let your hands release on down for your pyramid, and take your time if you need to adjust again. And again, if that folding over the front leg feels good, do it. And see if you can, just for fun on this side, try to lift all your toes up. So the front ones are fairly doable most of the time. Back ones not always so much, but if you can lift them a little bit, it's great. One more breath. Let the toes release back down. And now, if you aren't already parallel to the floor, go ahead and lift back up. From here, get your blocks on forward. We're going to bend that front knee and shift onto that right leg coming into warrior three. So get your blocks set the way you like. Go ahead and bend both your knees and bring your left knee in beside your right. And then inhale and stretch it back long. And do that again. Exhale, bring the knee in, kind of round. You can even look towards your knees. And then inhale, stretch it back. And then one more time. Exhale, bringing that knee in. And this time, when you extend the leg, see if you can release the opposite right arm forward. Or maybe you want to bring both hands up. That's up to you. Just enjoy. Coming into that strength, level hips, one more breath. And go ahead and bring your hand on back down. And we're going to find lunge from here. So make your way into that full lunge. And your twist of choice. So you can bring your right hand on up and draw your shoulder up, or you can put your left elbow across to your right knee. You can stretch your arm up or keep your arm down. Again, let it feel really good. Nice. We're going to come on back down into lunge and back into downward facing dog pose. Last vinyasas or kriyas. If you want to do anything else, now's the time. You can go straight from plank to up dog. You can move through chaturanga. You can put your knees down. Good. Now let's finish off. Meet back in down dog. And then from here, bend your knees really deeply. Think about your belly coming towards your thighs or even onto your thighs. So press back out of your hands, and then we're going to come forward, whether we jump or walk, coming to the front of the mat, getting our feet underneath us. Let yourself enjoy your standing forward bend however you need. If you like to hold your elbows, do it. If you like to put your hands under your toes, or if you like to bring your hands up to your back. Easy breaths. And then we'll bring our hands on up to our hips. We're going to rise up and inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. So, enjoy your mountain pose. If you feel a little off, you need to sway around a little bit, sway around a little bit, yeah? Let the body just find its alignment, which it really wants to do. Once the pelvis is aligned, it becomes really easy. Just finding that spot for your head, remember, where it feels really floaty up there, very light. And then releasing your arms on down beside you. And move around whatever you need to do. We're going to bring our mats into a wall. And if you want that third block to do dolphin, grab it. You don't have to. You know that. You can let yourself come into dolphin if you'd rather with your heels up the wall. Right? So I'll go ahead and show the stack up of the blocks in case anybody forgotten. Bottom block goes highest height, 2 on top. Turn the least high way, and then you've got this little positioning here where you can wrap your fingers around the bottom block, and you can walk in and be supported. Now, if you'd rather not do this, don't do it. You can come in onto your forearms with your heels at the wall. So if you'd rather come into your dolphin this way, you can come into your dolphin pose with your heels up the wall. Oh, I've never had blocks between my legs like that. That's kind of fun. You can just keep switching around. Sometimes have your head out and sometimes your feet. So take your time. I know a lot of you in here love to do a leg up. You know, you can bring a leg up. You can play with just staying in your dolphin, not worrying about anything as far as heading into any kind of forearm stand work. Let it be playful, right? If you're on the blocks and it feels really good, you know, to feel that space that the blocks really press into where you're trying to release. And you know, rest when you need to. And it's fine to rest however you need. You can be in child's pose. You can sit up again to have your head above your heart. If you rest for a little bit and then you want to go up again, by all means do that. Take your time. Enough, and you're ready to come down and rest. Again, you can rest in child's pose, or you can rest sitting up. If you like to sit on your heels, you know, you can let yourself sit on a block if it feels good to let the head be up again and let your spine align that way. Good. Make our way up to sitting. So depending on what you're doing right now, making your way around, and you all might want to sit sideways on your mat because we're going to come into a little wide angle here. So if you do, you can turn either way and let yourself, if you want to sit on a blanket, grab that blanket. Remember, you can always be off your mat with your heels on the mat if that feels better for your heels. Just take your time. Feel that sense of the heels being on the ground, and play for a second, and you can have your hands behind you. It's really hard to sit up tall, but you can just let your hands rest wherever. But play a little bit with drawing your heels down and back towards you. So your heels are on the ground, knees and toes are up, but you're pulling the heels back towards you. Feel how that feels. And then do the opposite. Start to press the heels away from you, which makes you flex your feet a little bit deeper, but the heels are still on the floor. Try not to hyperextend and press the backs of the knees down, right? Especially if you tend to hyperextend. And then bring your heels back down and in towards you a little bit. And we're going to let ourselves slide our left hand down towards our left foot or ankle. And then just release the right hand to just trail up by the side of the body. And come over into a nice side stretch. Now you know if you need to be up higher, be up higher. If you feel like you want to reach more with your right hand towards your left foot, you can. If the sit bone reaches up just a little bit, that's okay. But think about really breathing into the right ribs. And then we'll rise back up, and we're going to bring the right hand down and slide it down towards your foot or your ankle. And then again, if you can just let that left hand slowly start to extend and take your time, let it feel really good. Breathing into the left ribs here. And then we're going to rise on back up. And from here, let yourself just shift to your left and turn your right leg like just here so that you're just pressing a little bit forward with the right hip here. The knees can be bent as you need to be, right? So you're actually turning the leg over to the side, the inside of that right leg. And then come on back to center and just do the same on the other side. So this hip kind of goes forward and you open up and release a little bit here. Good. And then come on back into center. And let's bring our legs closer together here now. And turn so that you're able to lie back when you're ready on your mat. And let's hold on behind our thighs. Lean back a little bit. There's a boat pose without even lifting your feet up, right? So you can stay right here and enjoy. You don't even have to go any further, or you can let your legs float up. You can get the lower legs parallel to the floor. You can stay here in boat without letting go of the legs if you want. You can let go if you choose. And of course, you can play with longer legs if you want to do that. So if it feels good to let your legs play around with getting longer or reaching up to hold up higher, maybe even holding your feet or your ankles. Remember, there's that attempt to keep the back nice and long. You don't want to roll. What makes you want to roll backward is when you let your tailbone curl forward, right? And then let yourself come on back down into where the feet are just barely up. Now don't do this if it hurts your back, but if you can straighten your legs out and work just a little bit there on the belly, reaching into that half bow. Now if this is too much, don't do it. Just come all the way down to the floor on your back and don't even do this. When you're ready to come down, let yourself release on down. And bring your right knee into your chest. Stretch here and to the front of that left hip. Let that left hip release to the floor. And then just bring your left hand to the right knee and bring the knee across into a little twist there as deep as you want to go. Stretch your right arm out beside you on the floor. Take your time. Let that twist be whatever you need it to be. And then let yourself bring that knee on back into center. We're going to switch to bring the left knee in, extend the right leg long. And then again, that right hand draws the knee over, and it might be just 2 inches, right? Totally up to you. You may want to go way deep over. You can straighten the leg out if you want to. There might be any number of things that sound kind of good in that twist to do. time. And when you're ready to come back into center, let yourself come on in with the knees. Whatever immediately comes into your body to do, maybe a happy baby, maybe a Baddha Konasana, maybe you just want to stretch your legs up, maybe you want to do a plow pose, maybe, whatever your body wants to do right now. It doesn't have to be a yoga pose. I would love to bring support here at the studio. Obviously at home, you can get whatever you need to help you be comfortable for Shavasana. And remember, if you need support under your knees, if that helps your back release, if you like to lie back on support, you can lie back on a bolster sometimes. That helps your shoulders release. You're welcome. If you like to lie with your legs up the wall, just remember, this is a time when your body and your brain get to benefit from what you just did. And you just got to get out of our own ways sometimes, right? Just by letting yourself be with your breath. Letting those quieter breaths start to bring your body and your mind into a quieter place. And trust that your body will receive what it needs from all you just did. Just by letting yourself completely and fully relax. Gently now, easily start to feel your breath coming in and going out more fully, more deeply again. Letting those deeper breaths bring energy back to you gradually so that your fingers and toes, when you're ready to move, maybe start to wiggle at first, and you can move into your hands, your feet, ankles, wrists, arms, legs, whenever you're ready. You know, to take your time, enjoy the ground a little bit longer if you can. Let your body come back to moving the way it naturally wants to. So if you need to stretch, let yourself stretch. If rolling on to either side feels good, you know you can come into a soft fetal position. Maybe even, if you don't have a blanket, using your arm as a pillow and just giving yourself a little more time to adjust. When you do feel okay to rise up, so that you find a good, comfortable way for you to sit, and that might not always be the same way. You might want to grab a blanket or stretch your legs out, or you might want to sit cross-legged. But let your eyes stay closed if you can, or close them again, and then just come back to your breath. Once you're seated again and you can feel the breath coming into the belly, feeling that central column of your spine supporting you. And on your next exhale, letting your hands come gently to meet in front of your chest. And wishing each one of you a very joyful day. Namaste.
Namaste.
Happy